Welcome to South Sudan Diversity. My name is Tito.
It has been noted that you even misspelled the name of the president in your presentation.
For sure. Really? Okay.
Go ahead. That doesn't stop you from.
No, you know, my presentation, Your Excellency, is 52 slides. And if you could look, the writing is the writing for this project is, I can't read it with my glasses. So is it possible that I can get my computer and do this presentation tomorrow from my computer?
Yes, from your computer now, why not?
No, I don't have my computer right now. This thing was printed from here. I don't want to do a half presentation.
Okay, we go to Governor of Jonglei.
So please, thank you.
Governor of Jonglei. And you'll notice the design of this program is national government first, and then comes the state presentations, also mixed with national government presentations. Yes, Dene Shagur, Governor of Jonglei, welcome.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, First Vice President Dr. Riek Machar, Vice President Hussein Abdelbaga Akol, Vice President Taban Deng, national ministers, governors, the delegation who came from other states, members of diplomatic corps, members of the UN organizations. Thank you so much and good evening to all of you. I'm so happy to present the Jonglei State report to you. Jonglei State, as we all know, is one of the biggest states among the 10 states plus the 3 administrative areas. It is a state that is currently stably calm, even though some people sometimes do not accept to say that Jonglei State is calm. Jonglei State has 9 counties in it. There are namely Panga County, Ayut County, Uror County, Koba County, Twitch East County, Nurol County, Bor County, and PG County. These are the 9 counties that are composed of Jonglei State. Jonglei State has the total of 80,926.78 kilometers square. That's what makes it a bigger state. So with this, Your Excellency, I'm going to call my Secretary General of Jonglei State, Dr. Garwit Kwangyon, to take us through the presentation. And then afterward, I'll come and say some few words, if you would allow me.
Sure, yes.
Thank you. Garwit, you can come in.
Increase your speed. Oh, yes, come. I was seeing somebody else. I thought that was.
Your Excellency, the first Vice President, Dr. Riek Machar, all the protocols remain observed. I would like to say thank you so much, Honorable Governor, for giving me this opportunity. My role will be only reading the presentation and my governor will come and say something. As is said, we have 9 counties, like is started. We share border with Ethiopia by east, with Upper Nile State to the north, with Unity State, Lagos State to the west, Central Equatoria to the southeast, South and Eastern Equatoria State to the southeast. The state is made up of 9 counties. And also, I would like to bring to your attention the size of the contest. Vanguard is 7,000 kilometer square. Ayut, 13,000. Duke, 6,000 square kilometer. Uror County, 12,000. Akobo County, 9,000. Twitch East, 6,000. Nirol County, 7,000. Bor County, 14,000. And PG County, 4,000, which bring to the total square kilometer to 80,000. It tells us that Jonglei is the largest state in terms of the geographical locations. What does it tell us? It tells us that when we have a better size of the state, we can attract the investors to come and invest. Context analysis, the situation analysis of Jonglei state, if we compare it to other 9 states, is different in terms of political, socio-economics, technological, and ecological realities. As a result, we have some important priorities. And these priorities, especially from 2019 to 2020, the state was, I can say, was the first state to be severely affected by the flood. Historically, some part of the state have been affected by extreme weather shock, prolonged by periods and occurrence of natural disaster, increased likelihood of changing weather, and pattern occasioned by the climate change, which lead to the deforestations. Therefore, adequate systems need to be put in place to mitigate possible disastrous effects, such as weather occurrence. When I talk about politicals, economics, social, technologicals, environmentals, and legals, which is a pestle analysis, Jonglei state is strategically positioned as the key economic hub of the countries. We want to thank the presidency, and we want to thank in particular His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit for giving us a road. Now I can proudly say that Jonglei is the only nearest city that can reach Juba in less than 4 hours. This is a great achievement that we can appreciate the entire presidency for this, which means Bor is the capital of Jonglei state and it is connected, and the Aspal is reaching to Bor very, very soon. Despite the strategic positions, the state remains largely underdeveloped. Jonglei lacks infrastructures like any part of South Sudan, investors, and trade networks, and the standard of the living is very low. It is important to examine factors that prevent such developments. The microenvironment shows opportunity and challenge to the development of Jonglei state. External factors examined include the governance, peace and security, economic environment, social, cultural environments, and technological environments. The analysis was undertaken. This analysis was undertaken using a broad-based approach encompassing review of relevant documents and inclusive participatory stakeholders consultative process. For instance, before we came here, when we heard of the governor forums, our humble honorable governor had a consultations with UNAMIST, and the UNAMIST had a sponsor the executive and assembly to come together so that they look into the resolution of the 5th Governor Forum. This led to the development of this very document that I am reading on behalf of Governor. Jonglei State, we have vision, and the vision is to be a peaceful, stable, prosperous state with equitable governance and share social and economic developments. And our mission is to foster the exploration and utilization of Jonglei State vast natural resources and human resources potential to promote peaceful coexistence within the existing diversity for sustainable development. We have some priorities. Our priorities are categorized into 4. The first pillar is peace and security. The second pillar is governance. The third pillar is economics, and the fourth pillar is service. When we talk of peace and security, a renewed commitment to the implementation of the RRC's roadmap, mitigations or mitigate the intercommunal and resource-related violence, strengthening the role of the police and other security organs to provide individuals and community safety and security. Support peace using a DDR and developments, establish state conflicts early warning and early response system, human rights and rule of laws. We also heard the national government to continue negotiating with the whole out group of Kitgwangs and Agolek forces, because in areas of Fangak counties and Pidgin, there is instability, which are caused as a result of these factions. Pillar number 2 is the governance. So we seek support to implement the 5th Governor Forum resolution on each state to review the state constitution in order to conform to the Constitution of the Republic of South Sudan, 2011 amended and RRCs. I think as a Jonglei state, we did not do this with one reason, which my honorable governor will elaborate later, but part of it is that we cannot put this resolution because when we heard of the roadmap, as we heard from all the speakers, is an extension of the RRCs because the time was very limited. And to conform the state constitution, it is very important that it should go in line with the RRCs and with the roadmap as well. Support human resource development for political leaders and civil servants. We call for the full implementation of the Local Government Act. We call for support to construct a state infrastructure to facilitate effective governance. Because of the flood, Jonglei was really affected and most of the infrastructure need renovation or need reconstruction. I'm very sure the national government could put more special consideration. Seek the support of the Secretary General of the national government on the improvement of work relation between executive and legislative organs of the state governments. Build inter-state and counties harmony using sport and cultural exchange. The third pillar is economics. We seek support for return of banking service to the state. And I'm sure Central Bank or the National or the Bank of South Sudan can support us because we have a better road now and the security within the town is very okay. And for the banking to operate, security and infrastructure is the priority. Introduced e-governance for effective administrations and collection of state revenue with essential assistance of internet service and electric power supply. Invest on mechanized productions and value addition to fish, livestock, and agricultural products. I cannot talk about Jonglei because South Sudan history is the same. And when you talk of the Sud, we can say Jonglei is the center or is the heart of the Sud land. With fish, there's no question. Invest in the hospitality and tourism sectors. Support human resource development to strengthen state economic growth. We heard the national government to enforce the public finance management reform. The fourth pillar is on the service. Support the construction and upgrading of health facilities to meet the basics global standard. Today, the presentation by National Minister of Health, we have heard that the national governments out of our budget only allocated 4%. And I can also add my voice. It is very important because health is a part of security. enhance the education sector to meet the basic global core standard, invest in the construction of vocational and adult education centers to change mindsets and address youth unemployment and delinquency, support gender-sensitive advocacy and mainstreaming, including prevention of gender-based violence in all government institutions, invest in human resource development in service sectors. Now, the question is, what are our challenges as a Jonglei state? Lack of mobility and inaccessibility to vast majority of the population in the counties due to the flood. Not only the flood, the road is a great problem. The road from the capital Pibor to all the countries is a big challenge. And why it is important with the implementation of RRCs, the governments, civil society, and every citizen need a road to have the message. And also for the business, there's a need for feeder roads for our farmers to bring their produce from the village to the capital up to Juba. Flooding that lead to increase of waterborne disease and East Coast fever for livestock is one of our challenges. Poor infrastructures and office spaces in state headquarters and counties due to crisis and recurrent flood. Inadequate funding from national government has contributed to improper planning, budgeting, expenditure control, reporting, and oversight. Inadequate provision of medical supply, school materials, and other basic necessities are among the challenges that affect our state. Effect of climate change is a concern all over the world. But for South Sudan, it is a great concern than any part of the world because we are in lowland area. And this goes down to our state, especially Jonglei and the Unity State, plus Upper North. Insecurity in the northern Jonglei, as I said, caused by factionals of Kitgwang and Agulek factions. Our Honorable Denai, the governor of Jonglei State, with his deputy, they tried, and we sent a team in assistance with the national government to the area where there was a special leader. We negotiated with him and there were some impossible conditions. However, we really engaged, and of course, I'm sure my honorable governor will shed some light on this. Lack of community radio. This is very important when we are talking of the implementations or dissemination of the peace messages. Community radios are very important, especially in our countries. We don't have them, and we don't have network masts, some of the counties. And this I would like to bring to attention of Honorable Minister Makwe, if he's here, because this is part of his responsibility. And our partners like UNDP would also help on community radio setup so that we disseminate the peace as we want. Jonglei State in 2020 and in 2022, we looked Jonglei in a different lens with contributions from the national government. I proudly say that we are the state, we are very lucky to have a road, but before 2020, we could see people walking the river, but now the road looks very nice. So thank you so much to the national government. And we are very thankful also to the vice president in charge of the infrastructure. He visited us, and this contribute to his effort. Mean of transport in 2020, we want to bring these pictures, not because they are special than any other development, but because our development partners like UNIMIS, like any other UN agencies, contribute in one way or another. Before he gave us a better road, we were assisted by UN agencies with these amphibians vehicles to move with in the state. Thank you to our development partners. What did we achieve as the state? Working together as a government, despite coming from different parties, which is also encouraged by the presidency about I remember we received a communication from the presidency that we should work in a very collegial working relations. And as Jonglei, we did that. Improvement of security across the state, owing to the grassroots initiative. As one of the resolution in the fifth governor forums, the governor Jonglei went to visit the Greater Pibor administrative area, and he negotiated and had an exchange visit. He went as the governor, and the deputy governor also went. In 1 year, we went to the Greater Pibor administrative area. I believe this is part of the resolution, but although it was very difficult because we did it with the little resource that we had to do that, and we are very happy for that. Maximum dissemination of peace mission with we went to most of the counties, and that is why I said earlier that the governor and his team visit so many counties. With this, with the humanitarian relationship that we have, we roll out a resilient program aimed at empowering people to be self-reliant and be able to sustain their livelihood using cash assistance, food for asset, and fishing kits. One of the achievements is the harmonization of the state workforce, the free political space in which every party in Jonglei state are allowed to open their own offices. The state has managed to return good number of the abducted children and women that were abducted by Jonglei state from the Greater Pibor administrative area. The same Pibor also, they did the same. Like we heard yesterday, they returned over 20 children. This is a great achievement and we appreciate it. Way forward, embracing public-private partnership for sustainable developments and peace is very important. Putting in place a strong system, a state fiscal and monetary policy to control the non-oil revenue to enhance accountability. Renovation and construction of infrastructure, that is the government buildings, ministry, and other governmental departments. We are asking to build a permanent dike, developments of a feeder road leading to counties for implementation of RRCs. With this, I want to say thank you, Honorable Governor, you are very welcome.
Thank you so much, Secretary General. Thank you. Your Excellency, Dr. Riek Machar, Vice President Hussein Abdulbaki, Vice President Tavandeng, my colleague, the governors, national ministers, distinguished guests, thank you so much. Yesterday, there were so many questions that were raised in an issue related to cattle that are coming from Jonglei State. I want to touch on that. And also another question that was raised about the conflict that's taken place in Upper Nile. Also, there is also concern on that as well. Before I get to that, Your Excellency, as you can see from our presentation, the support that the states are needed from the central government, it's not very much, but it means a lot and it changed so much. You can see now you can travel from Juba to Bor in less than 3 hours. You'll be in Bor. And that road itself, it's solving a lot of problems. It's changing so many lives. Right here in the morning, right now in Jonglei from Bor, you can have fish brought to Juba live and cook in the morning. And in fact, many of the fish that we have here in many of the hotels here in Juba, most of it come from Bor. They come from Jonglei State. And imagine if we have those kind of road to all our capital cities and all the 10 states, that would solve most of the problem that we are spending so much money on. That really can help. Your Excellency, the issue of health was brought up by the Minister of Health earlier. The issue of health is very, very essential. As I can sit here right now, or I can stand here, you know, states hospitals are not getting even the little small, just a regular medicine for a headache. The state don't have it. We hear that there's no budget for it. And if our people are dying of disease, it is very difficult. Your Excellency, you might remember in Jonglei State being the biggest states, we have some counties that people have to be carried from one county to another county just to get to a clinic. It is very, very difficult. And not having road within internal roads, it is very difficult to mitigate all of these problems. In Jonglei State now, for you to travel from one county to another county, you have to use an air asset. And we are very thankful to our humanitarian partners that always come to our support, especially the UNMIS or the field office in Pibor have been working with us so greatly. Your Excellency, in South Sudan, we are hearing now anything. We have lack of funding everywhere in every of our institutions. But if we look at the globe, as a produced oil country, the oil price is up, the gold price is up. Pretty much all of these natural resources, the price is up right now in the world. But still, we're not seeing any improvement from our financial sector. I think this is something that needs to be really looked at, because until when are we ever going to see any dividend, or are we going to see any improvement from that sector? I think it definitely needs to be looked at. The issue to do with cattle. In Jonglei State, we have cattle, and we're very happy to own cattle. I'm sure many of the states also do have cattle. But we need to make a distinction here. Some of the cattle herders has been in Central Equatoria and Eastern Equatoria for very many years. Now what we are hearing is that there are criminals who are looting, who are stealing. I don't think that has to do with cattle. Of course, there are criminals. If a criminal get together with a cattle herder and go and loot somebody, or go and steal somebody from somebody's house, and now is being blamed on the cattle herders, and these are people who come from Jonglei. For us, we are calling our people to come back to Jonglei. Anybody who owns a cattle who is not in Jonglei, we call them back, just come to Jonglei. We agree with you on that one. But for you to put all this blame on the people of Jonglei, you know, even here in Juba, you know, the criminals are there. If I walked out and my phone is stolen or something is stolen, I wouldn't say that that criminal is from Central Equatoria. I don't think that would be fair to say that. But because as a criminal, for those years, when these people has been staying in Central Equatoria or Eastern Equatoria with their cattle, we have not heard of this looting. We have not heard of this rampant killing. We have not heard of that. But why is it now? Why is it happening now? It might have to do with the peace agreement that we're in, because there are some people who are out of this peace agreement. There are criminals who can take advantage of the loopholes. There are criminals who can take advantage of, you know, not having security in that specific area. They can take advantage of that. So I asked my colleague from Central Equatoria and Eastern Equatoria that we are hearing that call also. We are calling our people to come back. But we're not saying that they are the one stealing or they are the one killing people on the road. We're not. There has to be a committee that have to first identify that these people who are doing this are, you know, cattle herders. But we agree with you. We don't say that, you know, our cattle should, you know, roam around in people's farms. We don't accept that. We don't accept it. We are calling them to also come back. Your Excellency, if you may also allow me, the conflict that's taken place in Upper Nile as we speak now, it is political. And people are saying that there are youths from Jonglei State that have also gone in. But I can tell you today that this is to do with political motivation on both sides. Parties to the peace agreement have got involved in that issue that's taken place in Upper Nile. We went there to also call our youth to come back, not to go. But you can also see this mobilization lingering around. And now the conflict is even taking tribal lines, where Shuluk versus Nuer conflict, which should not happen in our country, should not happen like that. But we're hearing the call, and we're calling our people to come back, and we're calling the central government that if there is any effort that the central government can put into this to put an end to this, that will really help a lot. That will really solve that problem. But a political motivated issue that have got out of hands, it always need a political solution, a quick political solution that can solve the problem. Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Now we listen to Administrator of Pibor. Accept what I have said. Chief Administrator of Pibor.
Okay.
His Excellency, the first Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, with your colleague, I'm here stepping in the shoes of my Chief Administrator, Honorable Lakwale Amebulen, who is not in the country today. I'm called John Joseph Abula, the Deputy Chief Administrator for Greater Pibor. Allow me to salute the rest of protocol who are present here in this hall. Good evening. I'm here to represent the concept of the report of Greater Pibor Administrative Area. His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, Greater Pibor is composed of the following counties, which are Pibor, Gumruk, Likwangwale, Partet, Jabal Buma, Pachala South, and Pachala North. The area of Greater Pibor is 41,962 kilometers square. The population of Greater Pibor is 326,202. The capital of Greater Pibor is in Pibor. So the source of livelihood of Greater Pibor community, they are cattle keepers and farming communities. Here are the vision and mission and core value of Greater Pibor administrative government. Normalizing and peace and stability in Greater Pibor with the neighbors communities. That is the mission, the vision. The mission of Greater Pibor government is the ending cycle of violence for adequate social service, peace, stability, delivery. This is the core value. There is equity and in collaborativity, unity and respect, patriotism and cooperation and accountability. Here we have 4 points, which are the 4 pillars. We have the security, we have the peace and security, and we have a governance, economic, and services. Pillar 1 is peace and security, engage youth, asset in alternative livelihood skill. Some of you may ask what is called asset In our state, we have youth fight. The youth fight themselves. That's why we put it there. Our second point is strengthening police service in human rights, rule of law, and community violence reduction. Number 3, embrace community-based DDR through traditional authorities, security partnership. Construction of roads for strengthening social cohesion. Facilitate community peace dialogue that support eradication of child women abduction, tracking and returning abductees, prevent killing, cattle raiding, and peaceful neighboring communities. Initiate national response to flood-related matters. Pillar 2, governance. Support training for public officials on good governance and democratic practices. Support establishment of public institutions across GPA with enforcement of at least 30% of inclusive participation of women in leadership. Support the implementation of CSS roadmap. Support gender mainstream in public institutions and prevention of GBV. Support establishment of GPA legislative organ. Support establishment of GPA radio station. Pillar 3. Support development of revenue collection system. Support training of rate collectors at county level. Train GPA institution official planning budgeting. Construct community and border market. Construct farm marketing access road. Pillar 4. Support campaign for child abduction, for child education, and prevention of early and forceful marriage. Construction vocational health and education facilities across strategic GPA locations. Support mechanized community agriculture project and value added in livelihood produce. Support voluntarily and dignified return of IDP and refugees. Achievement. Disseminate peace messages to the remote areas. Exchange of abducted children and women, including return of raided cattle from neighboring communities. Return of IDPs and refugees to their respective area of origin and homes. Reconcile communities. All peace conferences and retreat for political leaders. Challenges. Youth asset violence. Insecurity due to presence of arms in the hand of the civil population. Foreign structure, road and building for government officials. Inadequate social service, for example, health, education, and access to clean water. Floods, inadequate humanitarian assistance. The way forward. Civil population disarmament, nurturing culture of non-violent peace coexistence, and offering alternative livelihood for the youth as said. Development of infrastructure and human resource, promoting rule of law, human rights, and peaceful coexistence messages. Support adequate social services delivery, improve telecommunication coverage. Number 7, a state plan for implementation of RARCSS 2018 Roadmap 2022, disseminating revitalized peace agreement in accordance with the Roadmap 2022 and ensure total peace prevail in GPA administrative area or in Greater Pibor administrative area with its neighbors, mobilizing communities who took refuge in neighboring countries to return home to rebuild their lives. The pictures there, those are some trip that made by the chief. That was when he went to Lanam to talk to the youth to come back and lay down their guns. That is the meeting that he held in Jabal Buma, which is with the Eastern Equatoria State Governor. This is the visit of Jonglei State Deputy Governor recently. And those are the resources that we have in Greater Pibor. And also this is our goal in Greater Pibor also. This was the ambulance that was being donated by one the UNOMES. And these are the 2 vehicles that was being donated also by UNOMES. And here, this is the end of the presentation. And I wanted to also, if you can allow me to say 2 things, if possible. I would like to also say something related to cattle rate or the issue of cattle in Greater Equatoria. I wanted to let us know we are here as the leaders of this country. When we wanted to resolve any issue, we need to put ourselves in a way that we need to resolve problem. We don't need to feel problem. So I'm seeing yesterday, some of our leaders, they just wanted to tell us that they are not in one line, which is untrue, which is not good for us. So, Vice President, I don't know when to ask why those of Greater Upper Nile are still bleeding. And peace agreement is already signed, and you are here with us in town in Juba, and people are still killing themselves in Greater Upper Nile. Why? Again. So this is the question I wanted to ask and want to hear later.
Thank you, the Chief Administrator of Greater Pibor. Now we move forward to presentation by Honorable Joseph Bangasi Bakasoro, Public Service Sector Reform.
Your Excellency, the First Vice President, the Vice President, our senior ministers, our governors, our speakers, all invited guests. I wish I could present this paper when many of our governors and other administrators are around, because my ministry is more crucial for the implementation of reform in the country. And those who are supposed to implement the reform are not available. Am I going to talk only to the same people? I see them every day with me in the ministry, or so I'm asking permission whether is it necessary to present to those who are not really supposed to get the information, or what do I do? Or can I wait for my Friday presentation because nobody is here to listen? Your Excellency.
You here on Friday?
Yes, my presentation is on Friday, and then I will make sure that everybody is here to understand, because reform is in my ministry, and then reform must be implemented by our partners who are the state governors and other institutions. We have a big challenge between the national government and the state and administrative areas. I'm asking your permission. If I continue, I can continue.
Well, I ask you, are you sure they will be present on Friday?
That will be their problem, but it will not be my fault again.
Okay. You can present on Friday.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I'm advising all of you to be here on Friday during my presentation. Thank you.
Are you gas? The gas? How do you feel the gas? In this case, we go to discussion. Let us give few statements to some people. Vice President, do you want to make a comment, or you are packing? What about you? Do Mike.
I was asked to wait for the rest of the people tomorrow. The rest. So I will talk tomorrow.
Yes. I will make my comments tomorrow because there are many things I had wanted to comment. But let me please have a seat. Let me explain what this forum is. It's called Governors Forum, but it does not mean it belongs to the governors. It's a forum where the governors, the national institutions, the international partners meet and discuss. Therefore, because I heard a statement made by the governors, to me that was not in place. It's not yours alone. The statement, the national ministers and others who are at the national level make statements so that you also react to them. You make your presentations, they will also react to them. The international community does presentation, we all react to them. So it is not a closed shop for the governors. The governors are expected to come with their delegations. We don't select the delegations of the governors. You bring your ministers, but last governors forum, we said the state assembly leadership will come. If the state leadership is the speaker, the deputy speaker, the chief whip, the select committees, that is yours. If you want to come 3, or you want to bring the state legislative assembly leadership 4, 5, 21, that is also yours, if you can afford it. There are states that can afford it. Central Equatoria, which is the host, can bring their state leadership. Eastern Equatoria, which is just 70 kilometers from here, or 70 miles, can do that. Jonglei can do that. But the rest who are far will have to bring those they want to be in the forum. Why the resolution? We need the state assemblies to be involved, because there's nothing that the state speakers are going to discuss without the governors. Nothing really, because it's governance. We're talking about governance. You see, they are involved in governance as legislatures, as overseeing. They do oversight, you know. So the forum must not be misunderstood. And I want to read the invitation letter. It was not written by me. Invitation to the 6th Governors Forum from November 21st to the 28th, 2022. I don't think this is special to me. It is to all. I'm pleased to invite you to the 6th Governors Forum, which will be convened at the Freedom Hall in Juba from November 21st to the 28th, 2022. This year forum will be under the theme, accelerating the implementation of revitalized peace agreement in accordance with Roadmap 2022. The main objective of the forum is to promote dialogue, foster communication between the different levels of government in the Republic of South Sudan. Even if you brought some commissioners, they will be here, they would be accepted, with a view to enhancing policy coordination and sharing of experiences between them. Additionally, the forum is meant to facilitate effective dialogue and coordination between the states and international development partners for increased collaboration in the implementation of development projects and delivery of services to the people of South Sudan. This is the invitation letter. And by the way, dialogue can be heated. It can be heated. All we will object to is fighting. But you will hear tough words. You know, you got to be tolerant about them. If you in the States, your people don't say tough words, here we say tough words. We do that in our dialogue, you know. We just don't wrap our backs, or else it will not be governance. We discuss serious issues. So don't be offended about them. Yes, the panel, they're very responsible guys who sat in front of us. I only did not know one of them. They measured their statements, the messages they sent. So it doesn't have to be an embarrassing thing. This is the dialogue we need. Having said that, do we have any information?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, this information, the day has been good today. And we'll close it with a few words. All what we have been discussing this afternoon is direct us to 7 points. What is the importance of peace? Recap will be tomorrow. I'm just giving you a homework.
Recap is in the morning. It is discussion
Yes.
that you avoid it.
To remove fear and anxiety in the life of people. So our discussion today is that we open our hearts and no fear. Talk with your own heart, as said by the Vice President. To promote progress, growth, and development in our society. And I think all of you have been talking about that. 3, is to bring about happiness, reduce trust in the day we have been spending here. So don't be stressed out. You are here to talk. Is to promote tolerance and to tolerance and understanding among us. So if somebody have hurt you, please, you have to tolerate it. 5, promote peaceful coexistence and everybody, and I think somebody mentioned it before, I have not heard coexistence. Why are you all here? You are coexisting. That is directing us to that direction. And to encourage all of us to embrace each other. If you have hurt somebody, you reach out and hug them and say, I didn't mean it. So my prayers, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love and peace. And peace, I close the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Give me time tomorrow. 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. Make sure you wake up at 6:30, prepare yourself. 9 o'clock, we start so that we can make up for the loss which will happen on Friday. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. Please feel free to suggest any topics to be covered by South Sudan Diversity, and remember to subscribe if you like what you see.